Would you call the roll, please?
Certainly. Nikki Austin is present. Rich Deppery.
Present.
Eric Ekdahl.
Present.
Terry Ellison. Teresa Keen. Present. Cheryl McGuire. Dylan McGuire.
Here.
Phil Vosberg.
He's absent.
Absent. Okay, thank you. And Tim Wolf.
All right, we have a quorum. We are in session. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda for this evening.
Second.
Got a motion by Terry and a second by Nikki. By voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. All right, we're on to recognitions. We're excited that school's in session again because now we get to spend some time recognizing some of our awesome students. So we're gonna start off the evening with Mrs. Judd and Abraham Lincoln.
Thank you. Thanks.
Mr. Niemeyer, come on up and. Jameson is our student of the month at Abe, and we are excited to have him because for several reasons, but he is a leader in our building and has the work hard, play hard attitude, but is always respectful when it comes to those situations, right, Jamo? Yeah. Jamo is a leader in his class, but he's also a great role model for all of the kids at Abe, and so we are thankful and very proud of him for being chosen. I'm gonna let Mr. Niemeyer talk a little bit about him.
So I am here on behalf of his homeroom teacher, Miss Duffy, who had some very kind words that I'm gonna read off because she can speak better than I can. JMO deserves Student of the Month award because he has exhibited exceptional student responsibility and leadership in our class since the first day of school. JMO has had a full understanding of what his job is as a fifth grade student. He focuses on in-class participation as well as homework completion, which proves how responsible he is as a fifth grade student and a great leader for his classmates. JMO is an easygoing kid and gets along with all of his classmates. Jameson has done exceptionally well so far this school year and earned the title of Student of the Month. And on a personal note with JMO, I've watched JMO over the years, and it's really cool that you have gotten this. I was actually very surprised you haven't, because you have been a role model for many years now, and it's really cool watching the other kids with you genuinely follow your lead. When you speak, they listen. And they follow your lead, and you are a very positive lead, and couldn't be prouder. So really good job, man.
Great.
Congratulations. Some fantastic qualities that we got to hear about you tonight. From the entire board, we can't tell you enough how proud we are of how you act every day in school, to be a good friend, to watch out for everybody around you, to be a leader amongst your peers. It makes a huge difference in your building, and it really helps make Abe a special place. So thank you so much for everything you do every day. Keep up the good work. We've got a certificate of appreciation for you to remember the day, and we've got a Barnes & Noble gift card for you to get some cool books. Congratulations, JMO. Good job.
Well, Northside Elementary is really excited to announce the recipient for this month, and that is Elijah Queen. So come up here, Elijah Queen. He is a fifth grader, and the staff, this has been a long time coming, and our staff was so excited to celebrate Elijah and all the growth he has made since becoming, he's now a fifth grader and since a kindergartner. So we're really proud of the growth he's made, the independent young man he has become, and just the kind soul, always respectful, always responsible person. But I'm going to have Mrs. Gunther and Mr. Solberger talk about Elijah because they've been working with him for several years and they know him best.
Down the side of you. Okay, good evening. My name is Karen Gunther,
I'm Tim Solberger, also known as Mr. Tim.
and we are so excited tonight to be able to share why we believe and know that Elijah deserves the Student Excellence Award. So, like Ms. Timmerman said, Mr. Tim and I have worked with Elijah for the past few years. We've been lucky enough to do that. And he's one of those students where I feel like he's taught us more than we probably taught him. He's just one of those kids. He touches our heart, and we're just so excited. So he's taught us so much that we decided that we would take this time to share some of the life lessons that Elijah has taught us. And in no particular order. So life lesson 1 from Elijah. You either have a big problem or a small problem. So Elijah was taught a while back that when things don't go right, he needs to figure out whether his problem is big or small. And if it's a small problem, then you don't need to get upset about it, right? You just find a solution and you move on. And Elijah does that all the time. So it's really nice to see that he's grown like that.
Lesson number 2 that we've learned from Elijah, just be nice to others. Elijah always treats others with kind words, never has a discouraging word. Can't think of a time where he's ever had a bad attitude or anything like that. He's a pleasure to be around.
Life lesson number 3, always greet people with a friendly smile, no matter how many times you see them in one day. So it doesn't matter if I've seen Elijah for the first time that day or the 10th time that day. He always has a friendly smile, a warm greeting, and it just warms my heart every time. So I really appreciate that.
Okay, lesson 4. Remembering little details about people can make them feel special. And Elijah loves to ask people random questions about themselves. He has an incredible ability to remember all this information, and he can recall it weeks or even months later. I know when we were out front here, he knows people's anniversaries, teachers' first names, and other things like that.
Next thing I've learned from Elijah is you should take the time to always do things right. So it's very important to Elijah that you do things right and you take responsibility for yourself. So for an example, in math class, sometimes if I'm in a hurry, I make my 5s a little sloppy and they look like S's. And Elijah does not let me get away with that. So anytime I write a number 5, if it doesn't look like a 5, he'll say 5s are not S's. So I have to make sure that I do that.
Last life lesson we've learned from Elijah, enjoy the little things in life. Elijah doesn't need a lot of bells and whistles to make him happy and make his day special. Whether you see a teacher from first grade in the hallway, like Miss Scott, or letting him play his favorite math game on his Chromebook, his ability to find moments of joy throughout the day makes you really appreciate those small moments right with him.
So every day, Elijah teaches us the importance of kindness, pride, responsibility, relationships, joy, and hard work, and more. So we, along with all the other Northside staff, think that he's just the neatest kid and the most deserving for the Student Excellence Award. Congratulations, Elijah.
Hi, Elijah. My name's Rich. Yep. It's great to have you here tonight. It's just so amazing to hear all those wonderful things about you. Your kindness, your optimism, the way you find a way to help people see that there's something special in them. It's just amazing that you have all of those traits as a wonderful young man. So from the board, I can't thank you enough for all of the wonderful things that you do at Northside every day. Please keep it up. We've got a certificate for you to remember this evening and a Barnes & Noble gift card to pick up some neat books. Congratulations. Ms. Trainee.
I'm excited to introduce everyone to Jude Lupke. Jude is a 4th grader in Mr. Grinnell's class this year, and Mr. Grinnell can talk a little bit about Jude. But Jude is incredibly deserving of this award, and specifically this year for the way that he's welcomed new students to Parkside and made them feel welcome in our school, in our classroom, and helped them learn the routine. So we got to pick Jude up. Usually we pick kids up on a Friday morning, but I can tell you this is probably the best Monday of the school year yet. Because we got to start it at Jude's house, welcoming him with the fire truck. And you guys were in the car, right? And then you saw the fire truck coming behind you, and that door swung open, and I think Jude jumped out. Jude, there's one more thing that I wanted to tell you.
So this morning, after you made your victory lap, one of the last teachers on the end was Mrs. Wellman, and she was a second grade teacher, but not yours, right? And as I was down taking pictures of you coming through the tunnel, she said, "You've got to send that to Mr. Sogstead. He would be so proud of Jude." And so I did. I sent him a text and I said, "Hey, do you know this guy?" And he said, "Congratulations, Jude." So he also wants you to know that he's incredibly proud of you. And he knew before you left Parkside you'd be getting this award. So Mr. Grinnell, what do you have to add to that?
So I've actually had the pleasure of working with Jude for, this is my second year. I kind of looped back with him. I had him in a smaller capacity in third grade. I talked to a few people, made a few manipulations to class list to make sure I had Jude lined up for me this year. That's a joke. So like all students of the month, caring, compassionate, your leader, your role model, everyone listens and follows what Jude's doing. What really separates Jude from a lot of students that I've seen over the years is, like I said, that caring and compassion. We do have a student who primarily speaks only Russian, came in this year, good friend of Jude's. Within the first few days of school, came to school, handwritten Russian alphabet, working on translating for him, taught us some Google Translate options, and at home is teaching himself Russian on YouTube and Duolingo on his own time. All his own thing, just to make people feel welcome within our class, which is a really special thing. So it's awesome stuff, Jude. We're super proud of you. Lots of teachers mentioned how deserving you are of this, and keep up the good work, man.
All right, Jude. How about that fire truck ride? It's the best ride ever. Right on. Amazing things that you're doing just to help your fellow students learning Russian, picking up Russian, to help them feel at home and to help them succeed. It's just amazing that you're putting forth that effort and that you care that much about all the people around you. It's something that we really want to applaud and let you know how proud we are of you and all the hard work that you're doing. So from the Board of Education, I want to present you with a certificate to remember the evening and a Barnes & Noble gift card. Keep up the amazing work. Congratulations. In school.
Hi, everybody. I'd like to introduce you to Chloe Jordan. She's our 8th grade winner this month. And Miss McGuire is going to come and say some kind words about her before she does that. Chloe's grades are amazing. That's kind of second tier in my book in our middle school. We're trying to build role models and really good citizens, and Chloe is an exemplar of that in our building. So, Miss McGuire, take it away.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to introduce Chloe as a student of the month. I think one of the things that really sets Chloe apart from the rest is her attitude. Having the "I can do this" attitude, right, is half the battle. And Chloe is always willing to try, even if it's something hard or she has questions. Before she's raising her hand to get help from others, she's looking at resources or trying to figure things out on her own to really understand them well enough to also help the people around her. She's kind of the calm in the chaos, bringing calm to everybody around her, keeping focused and avoiding all of the craziness that sometimes middle school can bring. But you stay super focused, you're super hardworking, and just have a positive, persistent attitude. And if you still can't figure things out, you're willing to put in extra time and ask for help and figure out what it is that you need to do. So your attitude and your leadership, just being that calm person for everybody else and helping them out, is really helps make class a little bit better. Thank you. Congrats.
Some more amazing qualities for you too, Chloe. It's great to see your resilience and your perseverance and your ability to adapt and overcome and just push forward and find new ways to solve problems that are put in front of you. Can't thank you enough for everything that you do at the middle school. It makes it a special place, and as a role model to your peers, you're helping lift everybody up around you. So we can't thank you enough for everything that you do there every day. I've got a certificate for you to remember this evening and a Barnes & Noble gift card to get some books. Congratulations.
All right, the Monroe High School Student of the Month is Lauren Kappas, senior at Monroe High School, super deserving of this award. Just a positive person. I've never heard anybody speak anything ill of you ever. I mean, you're always seem to be friendly with everybody. So I'll let Mrs. Astro, our teacher here, nominated Lauren, so I'll let her take it over and talk about all the good things that Lauren brings to MHS.
Yes, I'm so happy to be here on behalf of Lauren. So in AP Psych, when we're getting ready for the exam, we have some strategies for our free response, and one of them is to define and apply. So the definition of Student of the Month includes academic excellence, creativity and innovation, community service, leadership, and citizenship. And now I'm going to apply all those to Lauren and why she should be here. So first, she's in, as far as academic excellence goes, she's in honors, AP, CAP classes. She takes it upon herself to have that challenging and rigor in her schedule. And her teacher, Mrs. Rudy, said that she rises to challenge in the classroom as well. By the time she's done and she's graduated, Lauren is one of the only people that will have been in every single one of the classes I offer, all 5 courses. And so I've gotten to see firsthand her intrinsic motivation, her willingness to grow, her strong work ethic. And in terms of athletics, her coach, Mr. Jubek, said she's an example of hard work, dedication, and positive attitude. And he said that while watching her stand on the podium at the state track meet last year. For creativity and innovation, she's always coming up with unique projects. She even does things on her own, like make upcycled art. She's a very devoted member of the Earth Club. She uses ingenuity to help our class. She was able to use her technological prowess to get access to our Blackboard curriculum that we couldn't get, and the people at Blackboard couldn't get. They thought she was a coder. In terms of community service, she's a member of all the organizations, things like NHS, Junior Optimist, Key Club, and more. On her own, she volunteers for the Humane Society. She takes initiative to chase the things that she cares about, like the Global Scholars Program and starting a project for the people in Ukraine after we talked about it in class, and we worked with Alla at the high school. In terms of leadership, she has the official titles like Vice President of Earth Club, Captain of the team Captain of Track, E4E Policy Committee Leader. She's the TA for my AP Psych class, but really most importantly, she leads by example. She does that in helping people in a nurturing way, always. Mrs. Kister said she's always a joy to work with. And when I told the students in my class that we would get to tell Lauren that she was Student of the Month, I wanted to do it in a cool way. So I said, I'd like all of you to write one trait that you love about Lauren. And I had a bunch ready in case like someone forgot in the moment, but no one needed it. They were excited and it was awesome. So that says a lot about her, that all the students without a beat had an adjective in their mind to describe how awesome this person is. And then finally, in terms of citizenship, she's really thoughtful and reflective about issues in society that she cares about, and she actively seeks opportunities to engage, whether that's in clubs, in one-to-one interpersonal interaction, or in projects for the community. So this humble Renaissance woman deserves recognition. She's an excellent example of what a Monroe student should embody, and I'm so lucky to get to work with her.
Wow, Lauren. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
I'm not sure that much more could be said, but I really just want to, you've obviously got just an amazing, positive, and infectious character that helps and lifts up everybody around you. And you're making the world a better place. And you're aware that the things that you do can make a difference for a lot of people. And that's a very powerful thing to understand now. It's going to serve you very well. And I can't thank you enough for all the efforts that you put in. Got a certificate to remember the evening, a Barnes & Noble gift card. Fantastic job. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, so we have our staff excellence.
Back again. Hi, Emily. Emily McGee is our staff winner. She is at Abe, but she also does a lot of work around the district. She has made a tremendous impact on both students and staff. Although math is her strength, we've challenged her a little bit this year to branch out and even got her to do some ELA assessments. Big stretch for Emily. The staff sees you as knowledgeable, resourceful, dependable, an advocate for students, a problem solver, always thinking outside of the box. And one of Emily's most greatest assets is her strong communication skills, which she uses not only with the students, but really to get staff across the buildings, across the district, learning and growing. And she's always willing to collaborate and help out with anything that's needed. So for that reason, Emily was chosen as our staff excellence winner for this month.
It's really my pleasure and my honor to just thank you so much for the work that you do in the building every day to build strong teams and in the service and the advocacy for our students to make sure that they have everything that they need. It's really, really important, and it's critical to the success of not just your building, but our community and the children we serve many years on. So from the entire board, I thank you very much, and you have the floor.
Oh, gosh.
If you'd like to say a few words.
No, just thank you very much. I appreciate this honor, and I couldn't do it without the amazing teachers that I work with. I'm really grateful for the team that I'm a part of, as well as the administrators that I've been lucky enough to work with. They've always supported my growth as a teacher and as a leader. So I'm really thankful.
All right, if we could get all the student excellence and staff award winners to come on up to the front. Ms. Bochar is going to take a photo, and then we'll give you guys a couple of minutes to commiserate and clear out. If you'd like to stay for the rest of the board meeting, you're more than welcome, but you're free to leave as well too. Thank you so much for being here this evening.
You deserve that. Good job.
I know, it's in there.
So can we have you come in front here? And can we have you come in front and slide down this way?
No, that's, you didn't want to stare at people's back.
Well, I didn't want to be in the camera either. I don't know if I got out of it or not.
That's awesome.
You're good? Nope.
No, I wait for other people to take those pictures and then I just copy them. Cheese, smile.
They're out there. Thank you.
It's been a long week.
Maybe as I get to know some.
No, that's a good question. It must be in the oven. There you go. You know how to eat the cheese.
So I'm gonna come with you.
So was that a good enough, just brief introduction to Tracy that, it'll be fine, even the face will. Yeah, so it was good that you showed me.
Yeah, that's food will draw you.
I think she heard.
Leaving the 20th, come back on the 29th.
All right,
That's fun.
we are on to consent agenda. Any board members wish to remove an individual item for consideration from the consent agenda? Hearing none, we'll read them into the record. We're approving the minutes for the Board of Education on September 26th of 2022, approval of the Parkside Elementary Safety Drill Report, approval acceptance of community donations, anonymous $50 to the Backpack Buddies, Pick and Save 10 boxes of school supplies, and Kuhn North America, a pallet of structural weld practice materials to the high school tech department. I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Teresa and a second by Eric. By voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We're on to public comment. We don't have anybody signed up for public comment. I do not see anybody here for public comment. We're on to old business. This is the second reading of policies 9270 for home-based private or tribal schooling and policy 7510 use of district facilities. We did discuss these two policies at the previous meeting. Do board members have any additional questions or discussion for administration? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
Got a motion by Teresa and a second by Nikki. Any additional discussion before we vote? By voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We're on to new business. Item A is an informational item, early graduation request. Turn this over to Fig. Is there any discussion you want to have about it? It's informational only.
So actually, everything is in here. The student would like to graduate early and is just looking for permission. So she's already taken her CNA course through Blackhawk Tech. She's currently working at SSM Health in Monroe through the Youth Apprenticeship Program. So after graduation, she plans to continue working at SSM Health in Monroe in the CNA position and continue her education at BTC to enter radiography program. So Jeremy, is there anything else you want to add?
I think I wrote it in there, but we had offered her the idea of Start College Now and working through us to pay for those credits, but SSM Health is also offering to have her work and pay for it as well. So she'd just rather stay working there and on the track that she's at. So I guess I fully support that. I can't tell her not to, right, to do that. I mean, she's got some pretty ambitious goals and she's got a good head on her shoulders and knows what she wants to do, so.
That's fantastic. Okay. It's in here as informational, but do you need a motion?
We should
Do we
have
need
a
action?
motion. We should take action, yes.
Do we need to have her name in the motion, or is this confidential?
No, she's a graduate. It's public information.
Okay, all right. I would entertain a motion if somebody would like to make it. To approve Desiree Signer's request for early graduation.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
I have a motion by Eric and a second by Terry to approve Desiree Signer's request for early graduation. Additional discussion? By voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion is approved. Item B is an approval of public library tax exemption. So this is coming to us to create or ratify a tax exemption for the public library.
So this is an annual operation that we have to do as a school board because the library, the public library is under our umbrella as a taxing authority. So we have to approve their tax exempt status.
Okay. Questions or discussion? Entertain a motion?
So.
Motion by Tim, second by Nikki.
Yep, that's fine.
To approve the public library tax exemption pending final tax levy approval as recommended by Ron Olson. Any further discussion? By voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Next item, we have a discussion to approve the purchase of a handicap accessible vehicle. I understand we have a need to transport some students around and a requirement to have this vehicle in the district, so turn it over to administration to describe.
So so the district does not currently own a wheelchair accessible vehicle. So we have been contracting with our bus company. They do have a bus for when you have to do either community or other types of field trips. And we've also been having parents do some transport duties because they would have vehicles that have lifts in them. So we're looking at, it's a 2024 Transit T150 van. It's a custom Brown Ability lift. So it's approximately 10,000 miles on the vehicle, very lightly used, in great condition. Many custom features, including leather seats, queue restraint, securement, custom rubber flooring, school bus grade lift, so it's a bus level lift that's in there that has the alarms. So if everything is not proper, it alarms and basically it won't go off. So the price is below the market value for the vehicle. So the van was privately owned by a couple, and unfortunately the individual who needed it is no longer here. He passed away. So the family would like very much for school to benefit from the use of this vehicle.
And this is funded through IDEA funds.
This would go through the IDEA, correct?
All right. Any additional conversation or questions?
How much we spent on transportation through the bus company?
So,
I was curious.
yeah, so I don't. So it is it is an additional charge. I couldn't tell you how much.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cheryl. We do have enough students at every level and every building that we would get use out of it, significant use, and we wouldn't have to rely on people, parents, providing transportation for kids.
Good question. All right, I'd entertain a motion if somebody would like to make it.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Terry and a second by Eric to purchase a 2024 Transit T150 van with custom Brown Ability lift for $45,000 as recommended by Joe Monroe, Director of Pupil Services, IDEA funds covering the cost. Any additional discussion? By voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are now on to D. It's a report on the SOAR and Launch program, and a few of us were just over at Blackhawk campus today for the launch open house. So it was great to see the facility that the students are going to get an opportunity to use throughout the 2 strands we'll have going, and excited to hear.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
Sure, just the increase in the numbers in students has been impressive. I mean, Kara Carper has been a great addition to the program. She's working really hard. One change that she has been making in the program is as you know, we've had 3 levels of work experience and then internships and then youth apprenticeships. She's been really pushing as much as possible to make every internship a youth apprenticeship because it's a little bit higher level. They learn some better skills, there's higher documentation, and there's some reimbursement from the state for those too. So we currently don't have as many internships, but the actual youth apprenticeships have just blown up exponentially. We had about, I think it was 12 last year in youth apprenticeships. Now, some of that was due to COVID. We went down a little bit. She's up over, so I misquoted this figure. I said we were at 60, we're at 60 total in the program, but 37 youth apprenticeships from 12.
That's excellent.
That's pretty massive.
Exactly what I expected.
With 26 different businesses in the community,
Awesome.
the surrounding area. So, and she's not done. I mean, she, she told me this before we hired her. She said, the biggest problem you'll have with me is to try to slow me down. And she's right.
Yep.
She is absolutely right. She has a lot of really good ideas and a lot of really good experience. So that, along with the launch program this summer you were able to see, is providing some opportunities for our students that they've never ever had before. And then I think, and I know from talking to business people that they are super appreciative of the work that Kara is doing as well as the launch program and the experiences that we're giving to our students. So, and we should be proud of that as a school district and school board too, because this is, in my mind, where education is heading. Giving opportunities to our students that are very real, very relevant, very useful to them, allowing them to understand what they like, what they don't like. So I really just see our schools transforming, or at least our high school transforming to meet that model as much as possible. As well as some of the, obviously we gotta still push towards being college ready and college bound, but having students understand what they want to do, like I said, and what they don't want to do, and that includes careers, but it also includes college, being able to not go to college like I did and say, I'm undecided, I really don't know what I want to do, and then get there and say, well, I gotta pick something, right? Well, our students are gonna have some experiences already, so that's just amazing.
Fantastic. Okay. Any questions for administration on SOAR or launch?
What's coming up in a couple of weeks over at,
We're gonna host a Business After 5 event on November 1st in conjunction with Blackhawk Technical College. So that, to expose the program a little bit more, but also work with BTC and expose people, I guess, to their campus and opportunities there too. So we're really working hard to try to have a better relationship with them. Not that it's bad or anything, not that we don't like each other, but just to figure out ways to offer our students more through dual credit opportunities, through transcripted credit opportunities, getting them on more career pathways.
Fantastic.
That's great.
All right. Thank you for the update. We will move on to item E. So we're gonna have a brief discussion about the referendum, and we'll go through the presentation for the board.
Jen, can you pull it up? Sorry, didn't prep you.
And we have another presentation tomorrow, correct?
We have a community presentation
Community presentation.
at 6 o'clock at the high school Library and Media Center.
Okay.
And it'll be presentation, question and answer, and tour. So,
I forgot to mention too, we have 56 kids doing work experience as well.
Oh, wow.
And she expects that to increase, it usually does as we go through the year.
Fantastic.
Jen, I apologize, I should have asked you to have that queued up. You want me to forward off of the email? Is that okay. All right. Okay, so the referendum vote is going to be on November 8th of 2022. Basically, what's on the ballot is we are gonna be asking for $88 million of financing to build a new high school on a new site, approximately 265,000 square feet. We would be issuing debt in the amount of $88 million for that purpose. So, new site, new building, new athletic facilities, update our Performing Arts Center, and also about $3.8 million to update Abraham Lincoln Elementary School, very similar to the updates that we did on Parkside and Northside. This process started almost 5 years ago in 2017, when the district did some facility studies. We just finished up Northside project, and this is the next and last phase that was planned from that committee. So we've been consulting with CG Schmidt and PRA Engineering. There was a district facilities committee which held 4 meetings and looked at different options, different phases, narrowed everything down, and after several surveys, the final survey being January last year, went with the plan, which would be a 9-12 new high school on a new site with 63% approval in the survey. So a new site has been selected. We've selected a 77-acre piece of property near Northside Elementary School. It's located off 31st Avenue. The utilities, city water and sewer are at the road, technology is at the road. There are other areas with that piece of property that will allow us to potentially add additional entrances and exits. So it's also about as close to being in the city as we could get from all the properties we looked at. So we did look at all possible properties around the city of Monroe. This is also one piece that didn't go across any major roads. So it would allow space to actually bring the buses on campus, separate parking, alleviate some of the congestion and some of the safety issues we have with parking. It sets the school back, and it gives an opportunity for the city to grow. So this piece of property, we're looking at approximately 77 acres. Of the 77 acres, about 75% of it has a 20-foot or less elevation change. So for earth moving, that's going to save some money. So we are talking with the city and utilities, and we're planning with that in the engineering. So we're looking for the new high school to create some flexible classroom spaces to better help with student collaboration, project-based learning. We did a tour last week to Baraboo High School and Wisconsin Dells High School, which one was recently remodeled, one was newly built. And they designed those spaces as we would like to do them. And I think seeing those in person and seeing the different, the way that the rooms are set up for learning in the pods, you can see that there's a major difference in how those kids are learning than the way we're doing in our current structure. So go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
That's something that I was blown away by going to the different buildings is I knew that, and I've talked about that before, wanting to be more innovative, more collaborative, more problem-solving, project-based type stuff. And it's just, people will say, well, a new high school isn't going to increase students' engagement and achievement, and they're right. The building itself will not do that. But looking at their classroom spaces, which I had never seen before, I've seen gyms and commons areas, it invites that. There's no way you can't do that. It is so wide open and with breakout spaces and garage doors that are glass that lift up and tables and everything that gets pushed together. It is made for that. And I think of then how we are set up where rooms are very closed off and small and not much room to move around and there's no space. We use the hallways as much as possible, but you're bringing chairs or desks out into the hallways and just sitting in this very, not well lit hallway. That's another thing, the natural light in those areas. I mean, it was just amazing to see. And like I said, there's no way that I just could feel it in the building. There's no way that you couldn't be more collaborative. And in the Dells, they talked to us about what it had done because they positioned business, ag, and culinary arts, I believe it was, together. While the ag had went out and gathered blueberries or raspberries, and then the business came up with a marketing strategy, and then culinary arts made the jam and bottled it. So marketing strategy and made labels. So they're selling them blueberry raspberry jam, and they had a collaborative project among the 3 different content areas. That is so cool and something kids could get their heads around and very launch-like, right? It's a project, a problem that they developed and worked on as a school. So I could see, with a new building, with spaces that are set up like that, a lot of that happening.
Yeah, so a modern classroom is conducive to engagement, student engagement. Get them moving, get them talking, get them thinking, get them doing the work. So, and it was very much set up that way. And flexible, so they could change the shape, the size, how it's used. Even the furniture could be changed so that the layout of the room was different, like immediately. So, area that we also, obviously, we're going to address is we want to address our career and technical education areas. Get those updated, make sure we have the right space, power, lighting, ventilation. So currently our spaces are not air conditioned there. There's a forecourt gym and an auditorium for performances. We talked about parking, energy efficiency. So at the addition of more natural light, I think after visiting those schools and seeing what they did with natural light, that's a game changer, I think, even for just the atmosphere just within the building, is having more natural light. Currently, we're struggling with maintaining our circulation of air, the humidity within the buildings, and temperature control. So it's hot here, it's cool here, vice versa. We can't ventilate scents out of the locker rooms or different areas. We have to use the barn fans to move the air, and we have about 47 dehumidifiers throughout the school to help take moisture out of the air, and they have to be emptied twice a day. So So the planning was done looking at enrollment so that we can address our current and future enrollment, near future enrollment, so that's done. So also up on the board right now are just some pictures of some modern high schools. So there's a tech ed area, classroom area. The commons area that's on the top middle or left would be the top left. That's actually a shot of the end of their commons area. So they have a double stairwell going up, and then they have like a stadium type seating that they have that goes up to the upper deck for their gym and off of their commons. Their food service department was set up like a college food service, and they could push, 300-400 kids through the lunch lines to get lunch very quickly. And the commons area was spread out, very comfortable, lots of space, lots of natural light. They put in the culinary arts, obviously in the Dallas culinary arts would be a real big thing. And so they have basically the commercial kitchens in there. So current building concerns, water infiltration is a major concern. The custodial team is fighting to keep mold from forming pretty much everywhere in the building. We manage the humidity. It has at times actually created some problems with some of our paper products and books. There are serious foundation issues. We have floors that are sinking, walls that are pulling away. We have ground that, because of the water infiltration problems under the building, has probably pushed soil away from underneath the building. So parking lot floods after heavy storms. If we don't have the drain tiles on the roof, the basement floods. So all sorts of things. Our HVAC systems are over capacity. So all these things that need to be addressed. We already talked about temperature variations, humidity. We don't have air conditioning in the gyms or the tech ed spaces. We need the electrical and the data wiring updated for technology, and plumbing fixtures, no sprinkler system. So we have roofs that are leaking. They're beyond their life. Parking lots that need to be fixed. Tennis courts have probably needed to be replaced for many years, but we've hung on to use them the way we can because we didn't want to invest in them until we knew for sure we were going to continue to have tennis. Our bathrooms are outdated. They're circa 1970, 1980. They're small. They don't have good ventilation. Honestly, we talked about smell-o-vision. It's not just the locker rooms, it's the bathrooms. So they're not ADA compliant. Our locker rooms are absolutely not ADA compliant. The boys' locker room is in the basement. Same thing, we have a terrible time ventilating air through that area and cleaning out the smell. So they're 1950 designs, and the fixtures are in the gang showers. So you basically have showers along the wall and everybody showers in the same space at the same time. So we also have needs in security. So ideally, we would require visitors that come to the school during the school day to pass through the office as they enter the building. We also need to update our camera system. In our classrooms and lab spaces, they're not designed for collaboration. They have insufficient electrical outlets and infrastructure, and there's very few, if any, spaces for students to break out and do independent small group work that we can supervise and be in the classroom at the same time. So our lab spaces in science, career tech ed, family and consumer education, they need to be updated to better meet the needs of today's career skills. We need better ventilation and lighting, and we need to design it so that they're educational / workspaces. We talked about the community survey that was done in January of 2022. 63% of the respondents were in favor of building a new high school on a new site. Questions about what happens to the current high school should the referendum pass. Nothing has been determined yet. So if the referendum passes, the district has 3 years to determine what they're going to do with the old site for the high school, finalize plans. There is money that's into the $88 million cost of the referendum to return that site to a green space. So it's not like the building is just going to be abandoned. So the question that everybody is interested in is what's it going to cost? So Ron created this bar graph which shows the historical mill rate for the cost of the schools. A mill rate is how you decide how people pay taxes towards schools. So the black is our operations, and then the red and pink would be debt. So as you look at our mill rate, so if you see where the line is, you'll see one line, it has $1.99 on the top. That represents the amount of debt that would be in the mill rate should we pass a referendum. Now, if you look at the bars in the bar graph, you can see where that peaks out. So I'm gonna go one over to the side where it says $9.20. $9.20 was the average mill rate. So that's the amount you pay per $1,000 of value for a school last year. With the passage of the referendum, the mill rate will be at most $9.70. So it'd be about 50 cents more than what we paid last year. So what that means is it would be no more than $50 additional in taxes for a $100,000 house, no more than $100 in additional taxes for a $200,000 house. So, and just for reference, if you go back one more year, which would be the 2020, 2021 school year, the mill rate was $9.79. We're saying that with the passage of the referendum, the average mill rate is gonna be at most $9.70. We do have some preliminary state numbers, and in those numbers, it's predictive that instead of it being at most a 50-cent increase, it's most likely gonna be closer to a 35-cent increase. So that seems to be the part that a lot of people get hung up on. So the debt is the debt. Now, the dark red that's on that graph represents the debt for Northside for the project. So in 2 more years, that will be paid off. And then we've structured this out, we amortized it out for 21 years. So then a bigger portion of the average mill rate then will go to debt. So that's how we structure it, and that's how we can keep the mill rate at or below the numbers that we're giving. So does the board have any questions about that? It's important that we understand that.
So if we have an average priced home in the Monroe area around $200,000, my taxes would go up $70.
Correct. Yep, and what we have in our literature before we had the other data, we said at most it would be 100, it would be 50. But $70, so 35 cents per thousand or $35 per 100,000. So $70 would be the most your taxes would increase for the school.
So as we get closer to the annual meeting, we get more information and numbers from the state, and now that's starting to zero into what we think is 35 cents.
Correct.
$70 increase if you have a $200,000 house.
That's correct. Yep.
That's really critical because that's not being understood correctly now.
The way that I explained it, is that understandable?
Yes, and that was very helpful.
Okay.
The biggest question we seemed to get was like, people thought that their taxes would go up that $1.99.
Right.
Exactly,
So
yes.
that's why they're saying $700.
This is,
Yes.
yeah, this is really great news that we have the potential to build a new school building and only, increase taxes.
Right.
$70 on a $200,000 house. And even at that level, that's less than it was 2 years ago, from 2021. So I think if, the fact that we can provide that opportunity to our kids and our community and our families is really exciting and great news.
So why now? So there's a number of issues and systems in the existing high school that are gonna require a huge investment of resources into an aging building without enhancing educational opportunities. The costs are only gonna continue to increase. And although current inflation and construction costs are high, there's hope that there are gonna be some cooling off and it'll be a more reasonable place in the next 12 to 18 months when we start to bid the project. Although we have recent increases in interest rates, from historical perspective, interest rates are still really low. Our current debt is expiring. We are nearly debt-free, and we just have 2 years left to pay for the Northside updates. As the debt expires, it helps offset the tax impact of a new debt, which helps us level out that average mill rate. So there's not gonna be any crazy fluctuations. All of our buildings are aging. Our newest building, Parkside Elementary, was constructed in 1986. Our 2 largest buildings, the high school and the middle school, originally constructed, the high school in 1958, the middle school in 1939. So we need a solid base to grow from. We need at least one building to be current, designed for today's education and structurally sound. The high school has the greatest needs and provides significant programs and educational impact. If we simply try to update and repair the building and extend its life for another 20 years, all of our buildings will be 50 to 100 years old, and the community simply cannot afford to address all of the buildings at that same time. So the next steps, we have the site selected, so we have some testing and some other things that have to be done to finalize the property. So we do core samples, egg impact study, wetlands delineation, we have to get the survey done, so different things like that. It'd be about a year to finalize input on specific space needs and design. Construction documents would literally, construction would begin literally probably fall of '23 or spring of '24. We would issue the debt right away, and we'd just choose it we choose it at the time that would be best for the interest rates. So the district would address any emerging needs at the current high school and focus on long-term maintenance funds on remaining buildings. So we keep the current high school habitable and usable until the new high school we could move into it. So the next steps, if the referendum fails, the board's gonna have to reevaluate options, but people need to understand that the needs do not go away. There was a referendum for a new high school in the mid-90s, which did not pass. And shortly after that, the board passed a referendum to do the recent upgrades that they did. The problem was they didn't expand the HVAC system, and it didn't address the foundational needs that the building is sitting on. So the problems that they had 20, 22 years ago still exist under the building. And, you know, and I think they did the best they could do at that time when they didn't pass a referendum. But the problems that we have on that site go beyond just the building. So those are all things to consider. One of the things that when CG did their evaluation, when they looked at converting that to a 712 building, to renovate and rebuild that area or update that area was gonna be $86 million on a 26-acre campus. We have a proposal for a new high school on a new site, a 77-acre site for $88 million. And we're gonna be able to do it with no more than a 50-cent increase on the mill rate. So the needs are gonna have to be addressed. So again, what's on the ballot is a new high school on a new site for $88 million. And you can find out more information on our website at monroeschools.com. And we have a community information session tomorrow, October 11th, starting at 6 o'clock in the LMC. We'll do a presentation, we'll do a question and answer, and the high school staff is going to provide a tour of the building. Online, we also have a virtual tour for those that can't do a tour, so they can see some of the issues that we're dealing with in the school. We welcome questions. There is a question and answer on the website, and we update that as often as possible. We probably will put a new video up sometime this week, just showing what the Wisconsin Dells School District looks like. CG Schmidt did the work. They've also done a great deal of work here in Monroe, not just for the school, but for the hospital and for the clinic and for other businesses. So they're reputable, they do good quality work, and I think that is a good showcase of what a modern high school would look like. So we'll get that added also. So does anybody have any questions?
Thanks, Vic. Move on to, so we're 4 weeks out, just 4 weeks out. It's a huge opportunity to create some generational changes in the facilities that we use to teach our kids. It's incredibly important for our entire community. If we know anybody who's unsure, please ask them to come to the information session on Tuesday. Take a tour, see the need. Okay. Informational items, boardsmanship. We already mentioned the community tours. Our annual meeting will be on Monday, October 17th. It'll be here at the Bauer Education Center. WASB convention is coming up in January. So if you're interested in going to WASB this year, please let Cindy know. Registration opens November 1st. And policy meeting is Monday, October 24th. Is that a time to be determined?
Most likely that meeting is gonna start at 6 o'clock.
Board of Education correspondence. I have one correspondence pending a response. Committee reports. We'll go down the line. Eric, anything from you?
Nope.
Dylan?
Nope.
Terry?
No.
Nikki?
No.
Can
Good.
I get just one?
I'm gonna have to get some.
Teresa?
Curriculum met tonight. I was late, so maybe Todd can if you don't mind giving just a quick update on what curriculum did. It was a great overview on.
Yeah, we talked about curriculum cycle. I highlighted the work that's happening K-12 throughout the district and the different areas, all that align to our district goal and our PLC work. So I talked a little bit about that. And then at the end, we talked about some FastBridge data and how we use that data to look at trends across the district. And I think for a future meeting, we can come back to that and dig into a little bit more detail of how the buildings use some of that data. How do we use that data at the district level all the way down to the classroom level?
Thank you. Tim? Cheryl? Okay. Any agenda items for future discussion from board members? We do not have any questions for the liaison report. I do not see anybody here for the 5 minutes for the press. At 8 o'clock, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
A second.
Motion by Eric, second by Teresa. By voice vote, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. We are adjourned.